It's time for the CakeDrain Show with Drake and Cain.
What's up, CakeDrain Nation? Welcome back to the first episode of the Super CakeDrain Show.
Super! Yeah, we got a great episode in store for you guys today. We figured, since it was the first official episode of the show, that we should do our top 5 favorite superheroes of all time. Not supervillains, not antiheroes, superheroes. We each got a list of 5, and we're gonna say them. We're gonna go from 5 to 1. We're gonna say them at the same time so that we can see, because we don't know. I haven't seen his list.
I don't know his list.
He doesn't know my list. It's gonna be. We kind of have an idea of who each other's favorites are, kind of.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make it official here on the show.
Going back to CakeDrain Show roots with top 5 lists.
Oh, dude. Top 5 lists never get old.
Never get old.
This is like a top 5 and a top 10 at the same time because there's 2 top 5 lists.
I know. I didn't say it was old. I was just saying this is like going like back into CakeDrain's beginnings.
Holla!
Anyways.
So let's get it started. Okay, number 5.
Number 5. 3, 2, 1. Rogue. What?
I almost said Teen Titans. Let's try that.
Let's try that one more time.
I didn't hear his.
You didn't hear?
I didn't hear his. I didn't mean to say Teen Titans.
No spoiler
I was
alerts.
thinking Teen Titans because he's from Teen Titans.
All right. Try it again. 3, 2, 1.
Robin / Nightwing. Dick Grayson. Booyah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're like, names are similar. What we said. Rogue, Robin. I mean,
They both start with R's.
R's.
CakeDrain.
Boom.
So why is Rogue? How did Rogue make it to your top 5?
Rogue made my top 5 because number 1, honestly, I've always loved the X-Men. I grew up watching the cartoon series. The movies are all awesome. Rogue was the one that kind of showed the theme in X-Men as kind of being the awkward teenager. You're going through like puberty, through that mutation of life, and you don't like it. It's kind of like, I don't know what's going on with my life right now. Everybody else thinks I'm weird. I don't know if I can accept this. When I was younger, I was kind of an outsider, so I kind of like related to Rogue in that sense. And plus, my wife her favorite is Rogue, and I kind of relate Rogue to her, so it's kind of a bonus.
There you go. How'd she make? In that case, she should be number 1.
Well, she's number 5, but for this list alone, she's number 5.
Yeah.
She's number 1 in my life, number 5 on my list.
I really like how Rogue kind of represents, like, she's the superhero to first show that a superpower is both a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
She really emphasizes that idea in her character. I thought that's cool because a lot of them are like, hey, there are no bad sides to being this guy or that guy. Or if they are, they're less noticeable, but hers is like very in your face, like, hey,
you can't touch.
Yeah, I'm a superhero and I save people, but it's made my life really difficult, even with the simple things, you know? So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I picked Robin because I've always liked Robin, even whenever Robin was not cool. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Remember, like 10 years ago, everybody hated Robin. He was like they had like some weird, like, oh, Batman's cool, Robin's like lame or whatever. I've always liked Robin. I grew up with Robin on Batman the Animated Series. I grew up with Robin on Teen Titans, and Nightwing is awesome. He became like the Batman of Bloodhaven, the city where he is the Dark Knight, you know, and so that's how he made it to mine. A lot of nostalgia, and he's great. I think he's my wife's like favorite superhero ever.
Yeah, and he's really cool because I mean he started out as an acrobat with his family. You know, all of the origin stories. He's an acrobat. So he brought that into the table along with all the martial arts, all the fighting styles, everything he learned from Batman.
Right.
So he's got a long range of talents and abilities there, along with, I mean, you gotta admit, the Robin outfit was really cool, but Nightwing looks amazing. He looks like he could rip you apart.
He's awesome. The original Robin.
The original.
And I think he balanced Batman in a lot of ways because he was not quite as serious as Batman, And also in fighting style, Batman is definitely a bigger, more physically imposing person, and Robin was more of the smaller, faster, little ninja dude.
Yep.
It was awesome. They were unstoppable together.
Just like CakeDrain.
Holla!
Anyways, so ready for number 4?
Number 4.
In 3, 2, 1, Batman.
Wolverine!
Really?
Yeah.
So I'll let you go first. Why is Wolverine number 4?
Well, Wolverine because he's another one that I grew up with. I also grew up watching the Uncanny X-Men animated show back in the day, and I liked Wolverine on there, and I grew up, of course, with the X-Men movies, and Wolverine was always one of my favorite of the X-Men, even though he wasn't an original X-Men.
Yeah.
He was in the movies, and so that was more of my introduction to the X-Men world was through the movies and the show. And I like the complexity of his character and how he really kind of borders on the edge sometimes of hero and anti-hero. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a good guy, he's got good intentions, but he's also really motivated by, like, rage sometimes. He has this animal inside of him, and I guess as a child dealing with a lot of anger problems, I really related.
Yeah. And he, you know, with Wolverine, I mean, we'll throw it out there. He's Canadian. We love Canada.
Woo! Woo! Maple syrup.
Anyways. But he was always the cool X-Men. Like, if you were to list, you know, look at the list, he's kind of the gruff, cool
The
X-Men.
bad boy.
Yeah, he's the one that, like, girls look at and like, I can make him better. And guys are like, I wish I was that cool. He's that guy.
Exactly.
And, I mean, to make kind of side notes, I mean, if you look at the movies, it's Hugh Jackman. Period. And second of all, I think he had in the comic series, I think he had the coolest sound effect word, snicked, whenever he put out his claws. Snick, snick. I know. It sounds weird, it's random as heck, but that's just what I want to throw out there. That's another thing that makes him awesome. The reason Batman's number 4, and comment section, don't get mad. I can see it coming. Don't put out your hate comments, because Batman's not number 1 or not in the top 3. Here's why. Batman, I mean, honestly, my top 5 could be interchangeable, so don't hate on me. Even if you do, whatever.
This list was hard to make, people.
It's very
Give us
tough.
some slack.
Yeah, you pick your top 5 and set it in stone. But I picked Batman because he was orphaned as a kid. Originally, he started out as kind of a vengeful character because he was out to get the guy who killed his parents. Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that a lot of superheroes have, but he kind of changed his ways after that because he doesn't use guns. He's trained in multiple martial arts all over the world. He's, the ultimate stealth person. Like, he has the ultimate skill of stealth. Mm-hmm. He's a detective. He invents weaponry. He's, a billionaire. I mean, he's awesome in that way. So I'm not discounting Batman in any way. He's just number 4 on my list because there are other heroes that I've seen a little higher up. And I've watched like almost every incarnation of Batman. So he's one I grew up with in all intents and purposes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Batman's awesome.
All right.
Number 3.
Jump to number 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Spider-Man.
Another close name.
2 S's.
2 S's, man.
Boom.
Connected.
And same colors.
Very close colors. So, the reason I chose Spider-Man is I grew up with Spidey. Spidey was my first superhero that I really got into. He was the first comics I read. And because of his attitude, he's, it's really cool that he can climb walls and he can do all his acrobatics and super strong, but
he's funny.
He's awesome. He has that witty comeback for all of that. And, they've changed it over time. But the Spider-Man I grew up with was the one who would make jokes, who would, if you look back at the Sam Raimi Spider-Man as an example, when he's in the wrestling ring, what's one of the first things he says? That's a nice outfit. Did your husband make it for you? That's one of the best things ever.
He's sassy. It's great.
And also, he's the one that is also very relatable. I have a lot of relatable characters, but Spider-Man, he's a real teenager. Like, the way he was created is real issues. I mean, he deals with girls, he deals with homework, he deals with, you know, everything that teenagers, young adults have to deal with in life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you can look at this and be like, oh my gosh, I could be Peter Parker because of his random weirdness.
I relate.
He's me. So that's one of the reasons I've always loved Spider-Man, his humor, his abilities, and also just his reality, his relativity to real life. That's one of the main reasons he's my number 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason why Superman made it to my number 3 is I didn't grow up with Superman being one of my favorites as a kid. I did always like Superman. He's definitely one of my more recent favorites. But he made it to my number 3 because he's kind of the ultimate picture of a superhero. You know, he's darn near perfect, and I don't mean that in like a boastful way. I mean in just his attitude, how he conducts himself, and how he feels about things. He's not motivated by anger or revenge or this or that or some traumatic experience. He just has this. He has this power, and he knows he has this responsibility to help people, and he genuinely wants to help people, and he's really selfless and awesome. And so he's just this great picture of what a superhero should be or should aspire to be. You know, and the fact that he is really, really stinking powerful and one of the most powerful superheroes ever and also helps.
If he's one of, if not the original superhero.
Really, yeah.
Back in the 40s, whenever he was created, they really didn't have a lot of superhero characters. I mean, he's Superman. That was kind of the first one to be out there.
Yep.
And his, you know, I will agree with Kane. I wasn't originally a fan of Superman. I've become a more recent fan. He's not on my list, but he is one of my faves because of his, again, his attitude, his, you know, he's a protector. He's not just a guy in a suit who goes out and fights bad guys. He's like, I have a responsibility. I have to do this. And again, like Peter Parker, he's very relatable with his character because, I mean, he's had a lot of, you know, female love interests in the history of Superman, depending on which variation you look at.
Yep.
And he's one of the few superheroes that has a long relationship. I mean, him and Lois Lane have been together for how long?
Like forever.
Forever.
Since 39, man.
Relationship goals. So if you guys, so that's why I agree. Superman would be higher on my list with that. Superman is awesome.
He's great.
So our number 2 in 3, 2, 1.
Spider-Man.
Gambit. Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we both have
right next to you.
Right there. So why Spider-Man number 2?
Well, because a lot of the same reasons why he was number 3 on yours. I grew up with Spider-Man. He was my first favorite superhero. He really was.
Seriously, no?
Yeah, exactly. I grew up with the Spider-Man animated show and the movies, the Sam Raimi movies, which are my favorite Spider-Man movies. And once again, because he's just so relatable. I mean, Spider-Man is one of my faves because Peter Parker is one of my faves.
Yeah.
He's just a great, well-developed, awesome character. He's got this unique ability to, you know, being a Spider-Man.
I know,
come on.
right?
He's always had the craziest villains and stuff, and I didn't read a whole lot of the comics. I mean, I've gotten more into comics as an adult than I did as a kid, for that matter. But I've always loved it. I mean, one of my favorite games of all time is the Spider-Man game from PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
And he's just a great character. So
So Spider-Man all the way. Gambit is number 2. I know he's above Spider-Man. He's above Batman. I can see your comments. Stop it. But
no judgment here.
No judgment. Gambit has always been, like I said, I love the X-Men, but Gambit's always been my favorite X-Man. Again, he's not one of the originals. He's not, you know, he's one of the more well-known ones. But
he's a fan fave.
He is a fan fave. But again, if people say X-Men, they usually think like Wolverine or, you know, people like that. Gambit is really cool because one, he uses a bow staff, first of all, very hand-to-hand combat, and also his abilities are really cool. I mean, he can charge objects, he can control cards. I mean, who doesn't want that? just showing off in Vegas just for whenever.
Just cause.
And he's a Southern gent. He is from the Bayou of Louisiana.
He probably knows how to cook really good.
Oh, good food and the coolest dude on the block.
Gambit Gumbo.
On.
Gambit's Gumbo.
Gambit Gumbo. I would love to try that. And his name just sounds cool. He's good Cajun Remit LeBeau. And he's just, his attitude, again, is like Wolverine. He's very cool. He's just very chill. Him and Rogue are both on my list, but they could be together. Like, they're always together. Gambit was always romancing Rogue. And here's a fact for you guys, if you guys haven't looked too much into this. Gambit was the one person that Rogue kissed or touched, had no effect.
Booyah!
Meant to be.
You just blew my mind with that fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there was an issue where for years he keeps telling Rogue, give me a kiss, Chef. Give me, give Gambit some loving. And she's like, do you want to die? He's like, I don't care. And finally she's like, fine. And
it would be a good death.
Yeah, it's a good way to go. Finally she just straight up kisses him. Nothing happens.
Wow.
And that's kind of how they're meant to be together. So, you know what, guys? The one girl that you keep going after may be meant to be. I'm not saying go out crazy. I'm just saying maybe. It may be a good thing to go after.
If she kisses you and you don't die,
it's always a good thing. So, those are kind of my main reasons on that. His abilities, his attitude, his weapon. And, he's a Southern boy like myself, so I gotta respect him.
He's awesome. I do like Gambit.
Yeah. So, down to our number ones.
This is the moment you've been waiting for.
Big one. 3, 2, 1. The
Batman!
White Ranger. More specifically, Tommy, the White Ranger, for me.
Nice.
So, I did the first
Unexpected.
Did I do the first one, or did you did the last one first? So,
yeah.
The reason Tommy from the Power Rangers is number 1, I picked specifically the White Ranger because this was his return, so to say. It was very unexpected. When I grew up watching Power Rangers, Tommy was always the one that I thought was like I said, the coolest one, the more relatable guy, because he always had a happy attitude about stuff. I mean, yeah, they had to fight monsters, they had to do whatever, but he was always the one that was encouraging everybody to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And as the White Ranger, he had the Tiger Zord, he had Saba, which was a talking sword with a tiger's head, first of all. Who else has that? Second of all, Saba had his own combat knowledge. It helped control the Tiger Zord. It was his companion in a way, /weapon /partner in everything that he did. Wow. As the White Ranger. So that was something really cool that, even I didn't really know about until I did more research. And also, all the Power Rangers know several, their suits give them knowledge of several martial arts. They give them agility. They have all these different things. But Tommy was always a leader. He was always encouraging, and he always had the best attitude. So that's why he's my number 1. Shout out to Jason David Frank.
Nice. Awesome, dude. Awesome.
And Jason David Frank, besides that, is also one of the main reasons Tommy was awesome. Because he still has that same example to everybody out there. So, right. Side note, but JDF is awesome.
He is.
Awesome role model. Yep.
Well, Batman. Okay.
Batman.
Yeah, okay, so I went with everybody's favorite superhero.
Again, no hate.
But I'm not going to be the hipster guy and say that Batman's not my favorite because he's everybody else's favorite. He's my favorite because, once again, I grew up with Batman. Batman the animated series, Justice League, all these, all of the Bruce Timm animated shows with Batman in them. Batman. I loved it. And Batman Beyond. I even thought about, believe it or not, putting him as a separate character on my top 5 list. But I'm like, well, he's still Batman.
It's Batman.
He's just a different incarnation of Batman. Mm-hmm. And but regardless of Batman Beyond, he's really, in a lot of ways, Superman's human equal, in the sense that he's just this awesome picture of what a superhero is, minus all of the superpowers.
Yeah.
He goes through some trials and some hard times, but ultimately, he goes from being just selfish and bent on revenge to selfless and just a really, really awesome hero who has an amazing standard that not most superheroes don't hold themselves to, which is, not killing people, doing it the hard way for the sake of true justice, because, you know, Batman believes, and I agree with this belief, nobody has the right to take somebody else's life. No. I mean, regardless of what they've done, we're all created equal. God loves us all the same. And just because this person is a criminal doesn't mean that they don't deserve to live. And it's not anybody's right to take their life just because, for whatever reason, you know? And that's awesome, because Batman really holds himself to that code of honor. And it's awesome, and it's biblical. Oh, yeah. And he has awesome suits and gadgets and kung fu abilities. Batman's just awesome. All these superheroes are awesome.
All of them are amazing. Again, both of our lists, we could switch around anyway in there. But to kind of, well, I guess not preface now, but the reason my list is that way is because, like I said, these are all characters that I've grown up with. They're all characters we relate to. They're all ones that we say are, like, if these were characters that were featured, I would go see it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those are my critiques on, like, my top 5. So, hope you guys have enjoyed our list. If you guys have any other of your favorites that maybe we haven't mentioned, or maybe that you'd like to give a shout out to, post in the comments, because we love to hear your guys' input on that. And go check out my other channel, Drake the True Snake, for all of my random craziness that has gone on as of late. And also check out our buddy D-Rock. We like to give him a shout out every time we can.
He's got 2 channels.
Yep. First one is Wrestling Talk 1. Talks about all things pro wrestling. He gives his own personal take on it, and he's very smart on the topic. Like we are with comics and nerdy stuff, he's with wrestling. And his other one, at The Real D-Rock 1, where he just talks about whatever's on his mind.
Randomness.
And again, he's a very cool guy to listen to. So give him a shout out. Tell him CakeDrain sent you. And again, he's one of proud members of CakeDrain Nation. So we're all in this together. So thank you guys again for checking out this episode. Make sure you guys post in the comments and show some love to everybody we gave a shout out to.
We'll see you in the next one, guys.
Yeah.
Peace out. And remember, Bruce!